Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Hammer Museum. I'm Claudia Bester. I'm the Director of Public Programs here, and tonight is the second night of our annual JazzPOP series, which brings some of the leading talents of West Coast jazz and improv to the Hammer Courtyard throughout August. JazzPOP is curated by our dear friend and San Francisco bassist, Lisa Mezzacappa, who's somewhere in the audience tonight. Go, Lisa. And next week, JazzPOP will present the Naomi Moon Siegel Quartet, so come back for that. But tonight, we have a very special treat for you. The West Coast jazz legend and treasured elder statesman of the Los Angeles music community, Bobby Bradford, has created... Yes. He's created this special suite of music that we're going to hear tonight in tribute to the baseball hero Jackie Robinson, who broke baseball's color line when he joined the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947 as the first black player in the major leagues. Not everyone knows that Jackie Robinson grew up in Pasadena and was a star athlete right here at UCLA, where he played baseball, basketball, ran track, and was a star of the football team. So go Bruins. And ping pong. But likewise, Bobby Bradford is a star with varsity letters in cornet, trumpet, composition, and as a band leader. He performed for many years with Ornette Coleman's band in the 50s and 60s, and on his own, he helped pioneer free jazz, all while teaching and mentoring generations of students at Pomona College and Pasadena City College. For the last 50 years, he's resided in the vibrant community of Altadena with scores of other musicians and artists. And as so many others did, he lost his house in the Eaton fire in January. But like a phoenix rising from the ashes, at 91 years old, here he is, spitting fire and making gorgeous music. It's really such an honor to have him here tonight with us. And tonight, Mr. Bradford's septet features a who's who of SoCal jazz luminaries, with Vinny Golia on alto and baritone saxophones and bass clarinet, Chuck Manning on tenor saxophone, William Roper on tuba, euphonium, spoken word, and vocals, Don Preston on piano and gong, Henry Franklin on bass, Tina Raymond on drums, and the one and only Bobby Bradford on cornet. So thank you all for joining us tonight, and now please enjoy Bobby Bradford's Stealin' Home, a tribute to Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson, Lieutenant in the Army of the USA, assigned to the Black Panther unit. Yes, he was old Jackie in the Army to fight for the great U.S. of A. freedom in Europe. But what's going on at home here, Jackie? Maybe you made a mistake. Maybe, because if you didn't join the Army, you could have joined the Marines. And if you were a Marine in 2025, you could fight for freedom in downtown Los Angeles. Deploy to the USA! Jackie! Why did you do it? Why did you do it? Double V! Double victory! Jackie, join the Marines! You can go to D.C., to Los Angeles, anywhere where the sky is
Thank you so very much. I must ask you to excuse me for sitting, but my legs are not behaving tonight, so I have to sit. Thank you. We are, first of all, grateful for having the opportunity to come and share the music with you. Thanks to the Hammer for inviting us. We are honored to be here. We're grateful. So much has happened since the occasion where I was commissioned to write this music, which is actually in 2019, right? And many things have come to pass since then, but without doing too much talking here, what I thought when I was asked to write this piece is that I would try to address those aspects of Jackie Robinson's life that meant a lot to me. And a multifaceted career like his, was such that I only chose to deal with his life in the military, which we just played a tune there connected to that. His being called up from the minor leagues. In his debut game, he was at bat 3 times and didn't get a hit. His life was threatened. Many other aspects of his life we've looked at. But in a quick look at what we just did, as I began to do research to do this music, there was so much about this man that I didn't know. Now, I knew he was famous. He was a black hero. He was blah, 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 blah. But in the end, for me, Jackie Robinson was a great American. And so when Jackie Robinson was drafted into the Army in 1944, and after boot camp was sent to Officers Candidate School and became a second lieutenant. One night at an Army post in Texas, he decided he would go into the nearby town. He goes on a bus with his new second lieutenant bars, sits down. The lady next to him, white lady, says, "I can't sit on this bus with a black man sitting next to me. Tell the bus driver to get him off." Now, this is 10 years before Rosa Parks. Jackie Robinson said, "I'm not getting up out of my seat here. I'm a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army." He's arrested, court-martialed. I can't see your faces, but I hope they're wrinkled like I expect out there. And then, of course, found not guilty on all those charges. And I look at that and I thought, now here's what's going to get me going into getting inside this man's head so I can see what it would take for him to be willing to be the sacrificial lamb in what was about to happen. So that piece was called Lieutenant Jackie. We continue now with one called Up from the Minors, with the honor of being called up from the minor leagues to play with the Major League Baseball and show all of America that black men could play baseball at a professional level. And so my response to that, and Chuck, tell me if I'm talking too much here now. No, right. I said, are you saying out there somewhere in America that a game that involves hand and eye skills, speed, dexterity, strength, you don't think these black guys can play a game like that? But we'd have some already if they played well enough. So here he is calling up now, and he's going to be called to get out there and show all of America that we can play baseball at a professional level. So this piece may take us on some places that don't make any sense, but it was fun doing it, and it was a soul-searching job for me as well. So here we are now with Jackie Robinson being called Up from the Minors. Don Preston at the keyboard, Henry Franklin on string bass, Tina Raymond on drum set, William Roper on vocals, voice, tuba, Vinny Golia on the bass clarinet and the baritone saxophone and the alto saxophone, Chuck Manning on the tenor saxophone. Okay, this is Stealin, right? Yes. We're going ahead. This next piece is called Stealin' Home. Not stealing, but stealin'. Stealin' home. Jackie was notorious for stealing basses, especially home plate. Now that takes some real nerve and skill. He was an outstanding player. I could go on and on and on. If my wife would hear, she'd say, "Can't you get him to shut up?" But she's not here tonight. So we're going on with Stealin' Home. Let's see now. All right, gang, we're all on the same page. 4 bars in the front. 1, 2, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Fatigue, fatigue, fatigue. This next piece is called Fatigue. At a point, I suppose, when all the troops are out there in the olive drab, chopping weeds, whatever. But then there's also the psychic fatigue. We're getting ready to ship out to Germany now, or Italy, and fight the enemy, and save a place for that same woman on the bus that didn't want to let you sit down. Yes.
15 minutes.
Huh?
We have 15 minutes.
We have 15 minutes left. Ah, okay. All right, Mr. Rober. Jackie, Uncle Sam wants you. White boy, brown boy, black boy too. Go across the big pond. Raise your hand. Go fight and save this land. Come back home. Sit on the back of the bus and don't let us hearing you begin a sentence with the word us. Uncle Sam wants and needs you, white boy, brown boy, black boy too. Don Preston at the keyboard, Henry Franklin on string bass, Tina Raymond on drums, William Roper on tuba and vocals, Vinny Golia, multi-woodwind, Chuck Bannington on saxophone, I'm Bobby Bradford. Thank you so very much for coming out.